Right, wheels and axles. If we're going to make motorized projects, so the motor drives a wheel and the little vehicle moves, then it's good to have, freely rotating wheels and make them easy to take on and change and take back off again. So here are the wheels in the kit. So 4 thin wheels and 1 thick wheel, which is multi-purpose really, because it's a wheel and a pulley, which you'll see in one of the other videos. So the thicker wheel needs a tube called a bearing fitted into it, and that bearing is bigger, longer than the small bearings for the little tubes, for the smaller wheels. The axles are simply wooden dowels, and they're a good fit in the bearings. And of course, bearings help wheels spin with reduced friction. So they're really sort of free spinning wheels, rather than using an axle and a plain wheel, where the friction prevents it from spinning freely, and also it doesn't retain it on the axle in a very straight line. So the size of the hole is critical, but when you fit a bearing in, the bearing's made of a more solid material which fits perfectly on the axle. So basically, small bearing, short bearing and thin wheel, push and twist, press in with your thumb, get it nice and even on each side, check that it spins. There we go. So same procedure for all the others. Sometimes the wheels have a centre which needs to be pushed out, but that's not a problem. Next one. The bearings, as you can see, are all different colours, plain white or striped. Next one. There we go. So there's the wheels. I've done the longer one. Similarly, push and twist. Press it through with your thumb, push it back and forwards a little bit and get it central. Check that it spins on the axle. Absolutely fine. Now, the axle clips. The axle clips are to retain the wheel on the axle so it won't fall off. But first, the ends of the axle have to be trimmed very slightly using a pencil sharpener. So, trim it slightly. Check that the axle clip fits on. Now it should be quite a decent push to get the thing on because you want it to stay on. So there's the axle clip. On goes an axle. Quick test to check that it's working properly. And of course the other end is the same. There's not much point in fitting 2 on like this, but just to illustrate, if you do feel these are a little bit tight, look, shave a tiny bit more off. There we go. Well, there's no real point in that arrangement because the main chassis of a vehicle would have to fit in there somewhere, so we'd have to take the clips off in order to be able to do that. So for example, in this vehicle, just wiggle the clips to and fro to take them off, then it's obvious that the vehicle's been assembled in an order that lets you put the clips on properly one at a time. So don't put the axle in like that, put the wheel on first, twist the axle into the pre-drilled hole you've already made in the chassis, on goes the next clip, push on the clip, check there's movement, and then you're ready to go. So that was the wheels and the axles. And of course the thicker wheel which can act as a pulley. And we did mention in one of the previous videos that it will continue to jump off. The elastic band drive belt would continue to jump off unless you put the hub back on. So the hub on the end, and that just retains the elastic. And of course, lining up the motor a little bit by gently pulling it or pushing it that way or that way helps line the elastic band up too. Right, that's our wheels and axles.